We have a tendency to judge people who aren't like us very, very harshly, and it's part of society, right? It's part of mass consciousness. It's part of how we grew up. If your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandfather judged certain people a certain way, there's a good chance that we may carry that same type of judgment moving forward. I want to share a story, and this is from our brand new free grassroots movement, Look to Lift Others. Hi, I'm David Essel, 45 years as a counselor, best-selling author, and so many different things. I created this movement just recently. It's only been about a week old, in order to get the switch in our brains to have more compassion, more understanding. There's so much anger in this world. There's so much anxiety in this world. And when we start looking to lift others, we can get outside of our own head. We can start to really make a difference in this world. And the story I'm going to tell you is absolutely beautiful. So these people that are coming in, some of them are my clients, some of them are reading on our website, talkdavid.com, about this new movement, Look to Lift Others. And so I had a woman reach out to me and she said, David, I'm not going to be a client of yours, but I want to talk to you about your new movement. And I have a story I think you're going to really like. And I said, would you mind typing that? Would you mind sending it to me? So she's going to. And we're going to put it up on the page. But because this call just happened, I had to make this little video here. So I said, sure, go ahead and go right on. She said, you know, up until I read your page, I'm reading your page and I'm reading about how kids can make a difference, how someone saw a crippled man and for the first time went down and actually talked to someone like that. And then there's all kinds of stories about people that shied away from the homeless and people that shied away from obesity and all these different things. And she said, well, I've got a similar story. I have looked at smokers as villains my whole life. Whenever I see someone vaping or lighting up a cigarette, especially lighting up a cigarette, I immediately shut down and I go into heavy-duty judgment. There's no way anyone that smokes is ever going to talk to me. There's no way anyone that smokes is ever going to get near me, for God's sake. So we went through all this thing, and then I said at the end, well, what would you like to do? She said, well, I understand one thing that you wrote, you know, the judgment that we hold against others is really hurting ourselves more than them. We can think in our heads all the time, you know, oh, smokers are villains, but we're not going to say anything to them, right? So it's not affecting them. It's only affecting me. So I decided to take your challenge. And where I go, there is a shop, a tattoo shop, where people have benches outside and the tattoo artists take turns coming out and smoking. And I've walked by this bench many times and I've always turned to look the other way because it's so disgusting, the smell and everything else about it. But because of your program, Look to Lift Others, I decided to make a major change. And there was a woman sitting out there smoking, and she was one of the artists covered in tattoos. And I sat down and I said, hey, would you mind if I just sat here? I'm tired from walking and I'd just love to take a break. She goes, oh my gosh, no, please sit down. What's your name? And so the woman told her name and she asked what the artist's name was and she told her. And she started talking. How long have you been doing tattoos and do you enjoy it? And what's your favorite tattoo you've ever done? I mean, she just started having a conversation. And she said the wildest thing happened. As I'm talking to her, she's still smoking, just like everyone else. She's not blowing the smoke in my face. She's being very considerate, and she's blowing the smoke to the side and everything else. And I'm sitting here talking to her while she's smoking, and it's blowing my mind, David. I never in a million years thought I would do it. And then she starts telling me this story that was so moving, so touching, so inspirational about her life that my heart melted. My heart opened up immensely. And I said to her, how often are you here? And she said, well, I work 6 days a week. And she said, I'd like to come back and talk to you more. And about a week later, she said, I went back and the woman was there and we sat down and now we've become friends. David Essel, with your program, Look to Lift Others, I have a friend who's a smoker. It's blowing my husband's mind. It's blowing my friend's mind. Everyone is blown. And I want to thank you so much for opening my mind about how judgmental I've been. And I never would have had that inspirational story or a new friend just because she smoked. I thought that that was so beautiful. And it's the whole purpose of this movement, Look to Lift Others. Go to talkdavid.com. Read the stories. Read what we have written. Join us, please. Add your story. You know, you can read all the stories and then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I never thought about doing X and I did it the other day. Let me add it to their website. We want to share the good news in this world. Get off of the news, get off of TV, and really start to look around of who we can look to lift others. Make a little note in your car, so every time you get out of the car, you're starting to look to lift others. And I swear, just a few of these stories, and when you read them on your site, on our website, talkdavid.com, you're going to want to have the same thing happen to you. So join us at talkdavid.com. I look forward to reading your stories right there. Have a beautiful day.